Alright, let's start going over the gear, the passive tree, and we'll briefly look at the paragons for the build. Uh, this is a werewolf build using primarily claw, and this is due to, let's look, this item right here. Great Staff of the Crone, which allows claw is now a storm skill and cast storm strike. The reason why, like, this might be overlooked by a lot of people and be like, why is this good? Well, let's first think here is basic attack skills have huge lucky hit chance. Claw has a 50% lucky hit. Storm Strike's 25, and I believe each individual chain counts as lucky as well. So this allows you to do some weird shenanigans with things such as this. This lucky hit proc is actually insane damage. You'll see on my boss clip that this is what caused that boss to shred. Now, if we didn't have this, the build would still be really good. It's still a really good build without this, but this is kind of like the main sauce to the build, are these two combos. The rest is just additive. Another important note, so boots, while unstoppable, will gain 22 movement speed and move freely through enemies. Since I have the build set up to where you almost have perma grizzly rage as a werewolf, this means you will always have that movement speed bonus, or pretty much, and you will essentially always be, let's what you call it, unstoppable. You can move through enemies. It's a huge quality of life. I mean, everybody knows about these pants. It's a druid main. These things are insane. These heals, which we're going to be going over later, of how you're healing so much, are insane, and it keeps a barrier up at all times. That's what makes me super tanky. Gloves, Grizzly Rage now shapeshifts you into a dire werewolf, which is really good because it gives movement speed. And the other stat is not very important, but you need dire werewolf for the build to work. So 24% movement speed on gloves, it's what you got to do it. This basic skills, you are always going to be basing. That's the whole build. So 20% damage reduction. We'll go over the actual individual stats that you want on your gear later, but. Armor, Blood Howl. I have a really bad one, and I cannot find a better one of these. I can't wait till I get better crit, because crit is everything in this build, and as we'll be seeing here soon. Again, the lucky hit here, and then the duration of Grizzly Rage is 4 seconds, or 1 to 5, and crits while in this rage increase crit damage for every crit you do. And this is the other gimmick of the build. Since we're attacking so fast, we're proccing this that's hitting multi-hits, chaining and multi-hitting again, it's going to cause your crit damage to go past the thousands easily. Like thousands, don't even think of thousands. Meaning crit damage is kind of a useless stat on the build. I do have some here and there. It's there to kind of start the initial ramp, but it's not that important. Alright, individual stats you want to be looking for is attack speed's huge. Crit chance is literally best stat in game. You need crit. Like, this build needs more crit than anything else. So these are okay gloves. You'd want vuln damage if you can on these. You really want those two stats, crit and attack speed. Those are key. Really nice armor here. Lightning damage is mid. It gives a bit of damage. It's not that great. 1000 armor is pretty fat though. We got damage reduction from close enemies and armor. Kind of just defensive stats for your character. Basic skill attack speed, armor, cooldown's okay, helps with Grizzly Rage uptime, but it's not necessarily, and 50 dex, a little extra crit, it's like 0.5 to 1% crit, it's not that great. Amulet's pretty crap. I'm trying to make a better one right now, but right now it's just a tanky amulet with a couple like toxic claws, which is kind of nice. These crit, vuln damage, close, crit damage is pretty good. And this bad boy right here is disgusting. Resource generation is not useful in this build, but if you're a whirlwind barb, you would kill for this ring. And yeah, that's pretty much the general gear. So we're going to move into spirit boons. Spirit boons. We have crit chance here. Reduce damage from elites. Extended the duration of ultimate skills by 25. Keep the Grizzly Rage up. And these are your two most important. Critical strikes with shape-shifting skills heal you for 3%. That's what's allowing you to heal with the the pants that we're wearing that lets you get barrier overreach. And then we have Calm Before the Storm. Nature magic skills have up to 10% chance to reduce the cooldown of your ultimate skills by 2 seconds. This thing makes the build work. This is why I would even say it's almost tankier than Werebear, or like at least more utility than a Werebear, because now that we have that, you have to realize. Hold on 1 second here. I'm usually on a controller, but I'm using PC right now to do this. Okay, so what we're gonna see here is this is nature magic, easy, and nature magic. Both are nature magic skills, meaning you're reducing the heck out of the cooldown. If you're attacking always, you're gonna almost have this perma Grizzly Rage. Like, I would say it's got 80% uptime on average, and then 100% on the good times where there's a lot of packs. Yeah, so let's go over the build. This is the skills we're gonna be using. Claw maxed out with claw attacks being increased by 10%. Claw attack twice, 10%. Storm Strike maxed because you're also proccing this with the weapon. Immobilize, really good. It's going to allow you to utilize this passive here. Fierce Storm Strike, Vuln. This is your Vuln procs. So not only are your Claw is getting, you're basically proccing Vuln on attack always, which is really nice. Earthen Bulwark, you know, this is when you're out of Grizzly Rage, you need defense and Fortify sustain, because Grizzly Rage gives you all your fort sustain. Take Predatory Instincts, crit, 6% crit close enemies, key, 9% movement speed, makes fast. Bloodhowl, 1 point, cooldown, and attack speed. This skill is basically like one of the biggest stat stick abilities ever. You need to be spamming that on cooldown. No companions because you can't use them during Grizzly Rage. Storm skills, you could rank this up if you wanted to more, if you had more skill points. Helps with Vulns, not really though. You could do duration here. The reason we even use Hurricane is for more crits during our Grizzly Rage, because remember our Grizzly Rage, when we have Grizzly Rage up, every crit we do is giving us more damage, crit damage, 10% each crit. So Hurricane is key. I know a lot of Druids are doing this. You could even run like you'll want to put a point into this. I accidentally have this out because I was doing stuff for PvP where I was switching in between the two. This is an accident. You 100% should be doing less damage taken. 30%. This is basically just lightning bolt. It gives more damage to your autos. You're gonna be proccing this all the time because lucky hit. Remember, this build has 75, almost 125 in packs, 150% lucky hit. So 30% of that, you're getting about 40% chance to just a lightning bolt, which is an extra huge hit. This is just more lightning damage. Huge. This is a trample. We use this when our Grizzly Rage is down for movement speed. It gives us unstoppable, which our boots then gives us more movement speed. It's kind of a double whammy there. Poison, you should only have 1 rank. This is more for PvP, where I rank this up more because you want to be able to chase down enemies, and this really helps. It's an insane PvP build. Maybe I'll make a video about that later. This you really don't need. It's just a ramp early. You don't need it, but this is completely like you only need 1 point into this. It's because you need to poison to slow on this build. I mean, you could run some other slows on the build like Hurricane. You will be a slow, but you always want that consistent. So poison's kind of your slow. You don't need all these 3 points. Just 1 point into this. Gets the slow on the target, allows you to use that damage type. Nature Magic, 12% damage to our basic attacks, basically 12% to Vuln enemies, insane, that's a more multiplier. 6% for our auto attacks. You might want to get more fort gen, it's okay, you don't really need it. Max out the Grizzly Rage, and then Bestial Rampage. The reason we take this over this here, this will always crit. And that is super nice. Like, you think, oh, it's super nice, you get extra damage too, right? The thing is, the more crit you scale, the less effective this becomes. This actually is very effective early on if you wanted to take this, because it's almost guaranteeing it. But it's also a werewolf skill. So it's not, it's not double dipping into the fact that we're 2 basic skills. It's not really worth it. Maybe early on it's arguable to take it, but generally you want to take this. So right when you're at a boss, you proc your Werebear skills, which is either Trample or your Earthen Bulwark. Then you want a Hurricane, and then you want to use Grizzly Rage, and then use Blood Howl and just destroy. It's going to give you 20% more damage, 20% attack speed. Attack speed's key on the build. So, yep, that's the skills. Let's go to Paragon board. This shit, bro, I'm literally winging everything. I haven't looked at anything. I'm kind of going off my own ideas. So we just go in here, get the max life. Percent damage isn't that good. These are actually really, it's actually pretty good nodes. I might even switch over there, but this has got armor. I like armor. Eventually you'll want to level this up. I'm pretty close to getting it up to where it goes all the way. Then you can fully juice it. Werewolf in your glyph socket. Go up here, grab your damage, willpower. Over here, we're just going to get your vulnerable target, the best glyph in the game. You want to scale this. Like, once you get into higher levels, scale the motherfucker out of this. Like, get a ton of dexterity. Just, yeah, get a ton of dex. Scale Vuln damage. It's a more multiplier. You're always proccing Vuln. No reason. You need to juice this thing. This is the key. This is the key to damage. But we're moving on. These are huge. Damage reduction of Vuln. Damage reduction of Vuln. Huge nodes. You're not going to be taking much damage. These are arguable if they're worth it. They will be dropped later. Crit damage and like, yeah, just crit damage. Really not good at all. But they're there for early game juice. Move over here, you know, you're just pathing, and you're going to grab this glyph socket. This is shit. Like, I need to find a better glyph for this. I'm not even gonna talk about this. You're gonna grab just life, nature skill, basically basic attack damage. And very little legendary nodes on this build are actually good. Like, very little. It's arguable. Like this, like, see, that's 30% crit damage. Like, our build's got 1,000 crit damage. Trash. Like, don't take it. Trash. Don't take it. Trash. Don't take it. We don't have spirit cost. So every legendary node is really trash on this build. So we skip those, but we want to get all the really good rare nodes and stuff and hit glyph sockets. So I'm starting to map over here to this glyph socket. But the key is, you want to try to, like, look at my rare nodes and magic nodes and try to get these effective for the build. These are key here. Attack speed, it's so good. Like 7% attack speed there. Stick. Most likely what I would end up doing is glyph here and then another board here just to get even more effective nodes. It's not using much legendaries, so we're just trying to be efficient with the glyph sockets and what we're getting out of things. So that's the idea of the Paragon board. It's not fleshed out. I'll probably make an actual video on this separate if people are actually interested. And yeah, again, I might do a PvP video. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I'm missing. I'm doing everything in one take here. Gems. Oh yeah, we can do gems. Basic skill damage, of course. This is huge. Not many gems are very effective in weapons, but this is a huge, just 40% damage. Like, crazy. Nobody uses basic skills in this game really, so yeah. Spirit boons, all this, we are probably good. Alright. See you in the next video, I suppose.